John Foxy on channel John West. I'm having the Danganronpa V3 Killing Harmony Adventure. I'm still reversed, but I can just flip my hands, it's fine. Let me just...
Leave it to me, Shuichi.
Yes, there we go.
Your partner will give you hints in times of trouble. This is the virtual world.
Oh yes, we're answering a question I already know the answer to.
Okay.
Super confusing. Let's go off this can. Kokichi might be onto something there. We just need to forget what we know and just think about it. How did the signboard pass through the wall downstream and end up upstream? Putting common sense aside and focusing on the flow of the river. That doesn't make any sense, by the way. Downstream and upstream connect. I feel like the second answer was still true as well.
That's it. What if both ends of the river were connected?
Huh? Both ends of river connected?
Exactly. To put it another way, the river isn't cut off at the wall near the chapel. It's all part of one big loop. The upstream part of the river is connected to it.
What? What are you talking about? Both ends of the river can't...
Again, throw out all common sense from your head. We're talking about the virtual world.
Then what about the wall? There was only one wall that could be passed through.
Right. Even if the river's connected and it goes through the chapel
It's the same wall.
It wouldn't have been able to go through the mansion wall too.
Wait, in that case...
I got it. I know why Mew only set up one wall.
The reason she only set up one wall is because the chapel and the mansion walls are the same wall. Oh, welcome to 3 hours ago, game.
That's it.
I'm reminded of the second game with a weird turning
separate.
thing.
They're the same wall.
The same wall?
It's not just the river. The walls themselves are connected. Don't think of it as two separate walls, but a single wall parallel to the y-axis. That single wall divides the entire virtual world. The idea is, you pass through the wall by the chapel and come out by the mansion.
Everything is starting to connect. See, didn't I tell you? Everything is connected.
Damn it, Kokichi! Just tell us...
It's okay. More importantly, this is the final stretch! If both the river and wall are connected, then you can find the secret. Shuichi, you already know the secret behind the virtual world.
The secret, huh? Well, that's all a big loop. Yes, I suppose we should clear that up. I'm recording. I am cool. Oh no. W. Oh, I'll go for an L. R. L. D. D. R. L. B. S. Delicious world loops!
I see now.
Yes, that's it. The virtual world is a loop. Loop?
Just like in old games, right? Like, for example, when a
Yes.
character goes off the left side of the screen and reappears on the right.
Yes, exactly. The edges of the virtual world are linked together in a continuous loop.
The virtual world loops?
What in the world?
If that's true, it would explain the way the signboard was swept away. It vanished into the wall downstream of the river, came out of that same wall upstream, and floated with the currents until it got caught on the rocks.
What was the world like before Mew added the wall?
Actually, there wasn't a wall on the y-axis at all, and the x-axis was set to loop.
Are you serious? Even if it is a computer program, isn't that too crazy?
A looping world. That's more extraordinary than even magic.
But at least it's not a boring answer. It also explains all the things that happened.
Huh? It doesn't explain everything, does it? Because we still don't know why we heard that one sound or Kibo's voice.
Not a loading point, is it?
Yeah, sound doesn't go past the nap loading point.
Actually, if we know that the world is a loop, we can explain that as well.
Huh? Really?
Yes, but first we need to be clear where the loop starts.
Where the loop starts. Doesn't it loop at the walls next to the mansion and chapel?
Not necessarily. If we heard a
Oh.
noise at the chapel from inside the mansion, then the loop...
Ah, over there. What? Over there? The x-axis loops and the loop be running through the world vertically. Okay, what?
I was wrong! Yes, that's...
Right. I'm not really sure what it wants from me here. Okay, they're
Yes.
implying it loops there. But like... wouldn't it loop everywhere? Isn't that sort of the point?
There!
Okay, I see what you're doing.
The map loading point was where the virtual world looped. We thought the loading point was in the middle of the map. But the loading point was actually at the edges.
So the wall Mew created wasn't at the edges of the world, but rather... her wall was at the center of the world.
I see. So the mansion and chapel were near each other, with a wall between them. And any sounds emitted near the chapel would also reach the mansion. The wall only allows non-humans to pass through, so sound should be able to pass through easily.
That's right. That's how the virtual world works.
He is loving this role.
Impressive, Shuichi! For you to get this far! Yes! Yes! You are useful indeed!
For you to get this far? What are you, some villain pulling the strings?
Sorry, I'm adjusting my
Nope.
microphone.
Mew pulled the strings here, not me. Remember? Mew also set this trap. It all began when Mew showed us the map. Because of the map, we mistakenly thought the loading point was at the center. Which in turn made the mansion and chapel seem farther away from each other.
But the structure of the world wasn't actually like that.
Yep, we just
There was
established
a wall
that.
along the y-axis, and the x-axis came around in a loop.
By putting that wall in the center of that world, she cut off the loop.
So ever since Mew showed us that map, we were caught in her trap. But we solved this mystery thanks to Shuichi. All hail our savior!
Yeah. If Shuichi wasn't here, then we never would have solved this mystery. That's right. Good work, Shuichi.
Thanks, Shuichi. You saved us. You're welcome.
Just because we found out the virtual world's secret doesn't mean we can take it easy yet.
Yeah, the bit I didn't figure out ahead of
Actually,
time.
This culprit hunt just got to the exciting part. Even if we know all the tricks, it's pretty meaningless if we don't find the culprit. That's how a class trial works, after all!
Kichi talking like Monokuma again. No matter what you say, I'm not gonna believe your lies. I'm gonna believe in everyone. That's how I'm gonna reach the truth.
I can't wait to see what happens next!
What is Kokichi's plan here? He's definitely prodding at Kaito on purpose. There's no time for distractions like him. What we have to do is find the culprit who killed Mew. Doesn't matter how many little mysteries we solved, if we can't find the culprit, it would all be for nothing. But I still don't know for sure who it could be. Who used Mew's plan against her to kill her? Who killed Mew? Intermission? It seems like a short trial. I do want to save, just in case. Yeah, I might crash. Who knows? Yes! Okay. Man, I'm bushed. I got no motivation at all. Monophanes period is, hang on, I missed that. Late too. Father, why do you know about Monophanes' cycle? Never mind that. Perhaps his lack of motivation is due to a lack of hibernation. Lack of hibernation? I haven't been sleeping well lately, so I haven't really been able to hibernate. That's awful. What could be causing it? Is it because you have a lot on your mind? It is because the graveyard shift pays for a better hourly wage. Is it because you don't want them to think you're just goofing around?
Really?
Is it because you want to stay friends? Is it because you want to watch it in real time? Father! He's gone into hibernation. We should let him be. Yeah, you're right. Night, night.
My head! Monotaro! Pull yourself together!
like I'm forgetting someone important to me, but I just can't. My head! My head hurts so much, I just can't remember.
Have you forgotten? Maybe that's for the best. From this point forward, let's start a new life for ourselves. After all, our baby is excited to meet his daddy, you know?
Daddy? Wait, what? I'm gonna be
Like-
a father?
What a colossal death flag. I'll be surprised if he doesn't die after that.
More importantly, let's continue the conversation where we left off.
We understand Mew plotted the murder, but we need to find out who killed her.
And in order to figure that out, we need to understand Mew's actions. So let's discuss her murder scheme step by step.
I know that's important, but hearing you lead the conversation really pisses me off.
Let's see. Mew manipulated the virtual world to use it as part of her murder plan.
Don't just ignore me and start anyway.
If she had succeeded, she would have gone past the wall between the chapel and mansion. And then wham! Murdered me on the roof with the hammer.
She would make the murder seem like it happened in the real world, and then pin it on Kaito.
As for Mew's alibi in the real world, she could say she was locked into the virtual world. And in the virtual world, she could say she was near the chapel the entire time.
She'd make an excuse about how she couldn't reach the mansion because of the fallen bridge. She dropped the bridge on purpose so she could separate the chapel from the mansion. Then secretly passed through the wall she installed and took advantage of the loop. After, she headed to where we were supposed to meet up, the mansion's rooftop. Oh yeah, Kaito was probably logged out around that time too.
That's when I saw Mew.
Problem is, because of her murder plans, we don't even know where she was killed.
She was killed on the roof, right? Kokichi told us the roof door was locked and that he couldn't get through.
Maybe that when culprit kill her.
That's probably what happened. The culprit killed her on the locked roof.
Did the culprit lock the door to the roof?
Perhaps. I don't think Mew did it. If Mew did lock it, she would have done it when she called Kokichi to the roof. Even if someone came up, I don't believe she would change the target of her plan.
Yeah, unless he
She
was
knew
lying
that
about that.
Kokichi would come up later. Locking the door would be suspicious.
Well, it's possible she didn't even think that far ahead. She was smart, but she was also really, really dumb.
No say such mean things. Killing game bad, not Mew. Mew not bad person. Grown to think we could have been friends if things different.
That might have been difficult, even without this killing game.
That wouldn't happen.
Oh, that's just mean.
Nuh-uh. No way, Jose.
Huh?
Anyway, let's continue the discussion. If Mew was killed on the roof of the mansion, the culprit must have moved Mew's avatar to the chapel after killing her, right?
So the next thing we should talk about is how they moved her avatar.
Now we know the mansion and chapel were actually next to
I
each
guess
other.
she was thrown?
But the problem is the wall between them.
If she was thrown, we
Only
know it's
Mew
not
was able to
Kokichi.
go through that wall. the culprit wouldn't have been able to.
Then you're saying the culprit sent Mew's avatar through that wall?
Yeah, that's the only way, right?
But how did the culprit send Mew's avatar through the wall? I mean, it's not like they could have thrown her.
Gonta, not throw her!
We know. You couldn't because the avatar's physical strength
Oh.
was equalized.
She was put on the board. She
Physical
slid down.
strength Equalized?
I mean, it might have been Kaito then. Hang on. No, we know he can't have been Kaito. It couldn't have been Kokichi because he couldn't have moved her. Right? Because if he put her on the toboggan, he wouldn't have been able to grab her. Tsumugi or Gonta? I don't know.
That problem. Gonta no can protect everyone if that happens.
Jeez.
How do you know how long the
keep up
trial's
with
gonna
us.
be?
We're already in the second half of the class trial.
Toboggan.
How did they send Mew's avatar to the other side of the wall? Maybe that thing has something to do with it. You know, the loud sound you heard?
Okay, I'm not gonna read this. You already know. Them reacting to a loud sound.
Because of that sound, you guys went to the side of the chapel. Right, Keyboy? That's when you found the dead Mew there, right? If so, then I think that sound and her avatar
There's
being
no doubt
by
in
the
my mind
chapel
that the
are
noise is related to this case. We need to figure out what that sound could have been. It might be the clue we need to solve this case. So what was it? It sounded like something slamming hard into something else. What were those two things? It could be... It's the lattice hitting the wall. Maybe the lattice work next to me as avatar struck the wall. You think the lattice... Okay, sorry, Yeah, I was trying to do the toboggan.
Damn it!
Well, Mew hitting the wall then.
That's it!
Oh, it might
I
have been
think the sound came
Kokichi
from
then.
Mew's avatar hitting the chapel wall.
Because they're leaving the lattice?
The hammer, cell phone, and lattice were there, but they were too small to make that noise. Ruling those out, the only other explanation is that the sound was Mew colliding with a wall.
If that's the case, Mew's avatar must have hit the chapel wall really hard. We felt the impact all the way from the inside of the chapel.
Yeah, that's the real question. Mew's avatar probably hit the chapel's wall with pretty considerable force. But why did it hit the wall with such force? Can you guys figure it out?
Hold on, Kokichi. What's up with the way you're talking? Why are you talking like you know everything?
Let's not worry about that right now. More importantly, we gotta solve the mystery. Fighting among friends is a waste of time.
Friends? Us?
Anyway, can we talk about that after we figure this problem out?
Toboggan!
A way of transporting Mew's avatar.
Getting Mew's
that would
avatar to
cause
crash
it
into the chapel from the mansion's roof. There's only one way I can think of how to do that.
Hey, Shuichi, as your partner...
He already knows, he said there was one
I'll
way.
give you a little hint.
You'll what?
Since the mansion was on top of a hill, the roof was pretty high up, right? Past the brick handrail, the roof was at a pretty steep slope. And the slope faced the chapel wall. On top of that, there was snow on the roof. If the culprit needed force to move the body, I wonder how they did it.
Kokichi's talking as if he's got the whole thing figured out already. But I can't let him distract me, I need to solve the case. I want his jacket. How to make Mew hit the chapel wall from the roof of the mansion. I'm going to find the answer in my brain! You know, I already know the answer. What? I think that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a hidden Monokuma. Okay, I'll try now. Okay. Slid. Slid her down. Okay, fine.